Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Monday, June the 17th, 2024. Monday, June the 17th. Well, I actually liked what happened. I mean, not a whole lot happened, but what did happen was actually pretty good. Alexis goes to see Finn. And when she goes to see Finn, you know how Alexis can be very frank, very attorney like. She chooses her words well when she's not drinking, and she ain't drinking right now. So be careful because she's going to lead you down a path where you're like, what just happened? Right? So she comes in. Finn hears somebody knocking at the door. So, he puts the cup away, he puts the bottle away, checks his breath, answers the door. It's Alexis. So she's like, "Hi, I'm just coming to check on you." Yep, check on you. I've talked to you since the your father's service. The spreading of the ashes service. And Finn says, "Well, I'm fine." And she goes, "Okay." She says, "Is Violet home?" He looks at her. Of course, Violet is home. Where else would Violet be? She goes, I mean, well, there's the Quartermains, there's Elizabeth's, Violet could be in a number of places. She said, but he goes, she's home. She's fast asleep in her bed. Alexis goes, you mind if I check? He looked at her. He goes, why would you need to check? I said she's home. She goes, no. Mind if I check that she's fast asleep in her bed? Because she doesn't need to overhear this conversation, as children often do. Or she may have even said, she doesn't need to be listening on this conversation. Because guess what? Kids do. Seriously, right? So he looks at her and he goes, you could go check. Thank you. She walks in, she checks, she comes back. Now, when she comes back, Finn was like, whoa. Finn went over, got the bottle of vodka, and got his glass, set it on that coffee table, and started chug-a-lugging. So when Alexis comes back, she says, oh, it's good, good. We're not even going to pretend that you're not drinking. Saves us time. So he sits down, as she comes around and she sits down, he goes, you want a drink? And she looked at him. She says, I always want a drink. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not going to drink. I said, all right, I like that dialogue already. Woo, right? So they get down, down the road talking, and she's saying, I understand you really started drinking at Finn and Brooklyn's wedding. That was an accident. Okay, that one was an accident, but everything after that was not an accident. It was intentional. So he says, well, you know what? Then you know me so well, I am not an alcoholic like you. I'm a drug addict. Whatever the drug was, I forget the name of it, that was my drug of choice. And Alexis looked at him. She said, Finn, you're an addict. An addict. Whether it's drugs, your favorite drug of choice, or you will substitute it for something else. And in this case, it's alcohol. Either way, you're developing an addiction, a need to feel like what's wrong, whatever's going on with you with a substance. She's like, so drugs, alcohol, doesn't matter. You're an addict, which is why you had a rule, especially when you're in crisis. when we're in crisis. We have a rule, Finn, 2 meetings a day. I haven't seen you at either one because I don't need a meeting. Like I said, I am not an alcoholic. And so they, it's like tit for tat, tit for tat. So Alexis says, look, my concern is, he goes, it's obvious you're going to continue to do this. That's fine. He goes, yeah, like you did on many of times, many of occasions. She goes, and you're 100% right. But you want to tell me, he goes, but you want to tell me the big difference between me and you? And he goes, and what's the difference between me and you? She said, I don't have a 9-year-old girl dependent on me for my safety and survival. Are you trying to say that I'm a bad father? She goes, you hadn't been a bad father. You were a great father. But drinking, drunk like this? Oh no. Mm-mm. That puts that little girl in danger. And he goes, you can leave now. You just get out. And Alexis says, oh, we'd all like to do something, right? But I'm not leaving. She's like, look, this ain't happening right now because I'm not done. And he looks at her like, how did Alexis says, I'm going to tell you something, Finn. You are going down a path and a slope that only you can control. I can't stop you drinking. Nobody can stop you drinking. Obviously, even the love or needing to protect your daughter is not stopping you from drinking. And he's getting puffed up again. Like I said, she goes, no, I'm seeing what you're doing pretty much. Like, your actions are speaking loud, right? And she goes, and you know what? Let me tell you something. My friend Finn is a very compassionate person, but drunk Finn is mean and cold. And he says something about he can do what he wants to do. He can this, that, and the other. And she goes, okay. Now, how do you think Violet feels about what you just said? Because what do you mean? How do I feel about Violet? Violet, no, hearing what I just said, she goes, she's standing right behind you, Finn. His eyes got big. He turned around like, oh my God. And there was nobody there. She goes, I made you look, didn't I? And I said, whoa, Alexis Davis, right? And he goes, I said, get out. She said, now you see how you felt when you thought she heard you. Finn, she's going to see and hear you. She's going to. And she goes, now that I've said everything that I've come here to say, I'm going to leave. I was like, all right, Alexis. She never once raised her voice. She calculated. She walked towards the door. He's opening the door. She said, you know what, Finn? Call me when you hit rock bottom. Rock bottom. She says, and my friend, you're going to hit it sooner than you think. And she walks past him and walks out that door. And he looked like, what did she just do to me? Right? What? Huh? So he sits back down with the the glass, and he's rubbing it all on his face, and he's got a little tear in his eye, and he's thinking, okay, now, am I going to even try to take to heart what Alexis says? Am I going to dismiss what Alexis says? Am I just going to do me? And let's face it, he's going to do him for tonight. But I don't know. I don't know where they're going with Finn. So we'll see if he stops or if he keeps right on drinking. So that was it on Finn. Now let's go to To me, what was a little bit embarrassing, Michael had a party for Willow. And you almost wanted to say party of five, right? They had it at the Metrocorp pool top. And I thought, okay, yes, Brooklyn and Chase were there. Carly, Jocelyn were there. Gio was there. Gio don't know Willow, but Olivia said no, he had to go. He needed to get out the house. So that was 6. Curtis was there. Porsha showed up later. And Nina happened to need Drew for something. Oops, I didn't know something was going on here. So that was to maybe 9 people. But still, they could have had more of the cast members there. Well, of course, we knew he wouldn't have Sonny there. But, Sasha and Cody were there. Okay, you know what? Now that I counted them up, we did have like 10 people. Well, that's all right. A little something, something. So, Drew says, oh my goodness, Nina came down to go to, for me to sign off on something. She's here. Is it okay? Yes, she asked Willow. Is it okay if she stays? Or should I ask her to leave? And Michael looked at Drew. And Nina says, it's okay, Drew. She can stay. And I'll ask her to stay. So she goes over and she invites Nina to stay. And Michael just looks at Drew. Right? She invites Nina to stay. And Nina was happy, told her happy birthday. They really didn't chit-chat too much. Willow went back to Michael. And Nina stayed there by Curtis. And Curtis, talking to Curtis pretty much, right? And so he goes, oh, I see you got an invite. You're staying. And she was so beaming happy. Yes, Willow invited me herself to stay. And she goes, because, I didn't know this was happening. I needed Drew for something. And Curtis looked at him and said, sure. Like, sure you didn't, right? So he goes, but anyway, I'm happy you're here. And she goes, and look, nobody else has asked me to leave. So Carly goes over to Michael and she goes, what's Nina doing here? Isn't this the party you arranged for Willow? Did you invite her? He goes, no, I didn't invite her. She came looking for Drew to sign off on something, Aurora. And she goes, okay, and why is she still here? Because Willow asked her to stay. She did? She goes, yeah. She goes, and how do you feel about that? He goes, Mom, Willow asked her to stay. It's Willow's party. I don't feel anything about it. He said, I am done trying to interfere with Willow's decisions or make a decision for Willow. Oh, I've learned from that mistake. And Cardi says, okay, good. So then she goes to Drew. She goes, so you orchestrated that Nina could stay or down here. You're advocating for Nina now? And he says, no, I'm not advocating for Nina. She came looking for me for business. I asked Willow if she could stay or did she want her to leave? She said she could stay. She goes, but still, what's with you two? And he goes, nothing. She goes, because I thought you couldn't stand Nina. As a matter of fact, excuse me, y'all. As a matter of fact, you were all for nothing but revenge on Nina. And Drew said, yeah, but you were the one pointing out to me that for one, revenge was ruining our relationship and consuming me. I didn't want to be that way anymore. So Carly's like, oh, okay, good. He says, Nina and I coexist. She has her uses. She introduced me to Congressman, blah, blah, blah. And Carly says, okay, because he already told her about running for Congress. She goes, but why? There's got to be something in it for Nina. He says, well, all I know is Nina is helping. She helped Willow with her first spokesperson assignment. So yeah, what's in it for Nina? Yeah, she's getting to spend time with Willow. But what's in it for me is Aurora is flourishing with her helping Willow with the media and being a spokesperson. So Cardi said she didn't have too much more to say. And I'm thinking, Cardi, leave it alone. You're out the nosy Cardi business. Just keep your nose in Jason. We don't need you, because she don't care. She was just wondering, and they're gonna leave it that way. Now, Gio was talking to Joss and then talking to Chase in Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was talking him up to Carly, like, oh my goodness, best musician in the world. And Cardi says, no, Olivia brags on him all the time. So when he walked away to go back to talk to Chase, she says, look, you never talk about Gio's parents. Now, here's a little backstory. Father died, I think she said before he was born or right soon after he was born. And then his mother died when he was 10. Says, so the Falconeries and Cirillos clan have been raising Gio. They're in Bensonhurst. And she says, and family has stepped up in a huge way. I'm surprised she didn't say, and Sonny financially has been putting him through school and everything else, which Sonny has been. So that gave a little insight on Gio's parents, which was fine. And then we have Liz. Liz tells Porsha Finn is still knee deep in drinking, and she had to tell her because Finn had the nerve to call Porsha and say, I'm cutting my bereavement short, probably as he was taking a sip, right? I'm going to be coming back to work tomorrow. And so she goes, Dr. Finn is coming back to work tomorrow. And Liz says, wait, he's what? Because Portia's dressed to go to the party. And she goes, can I talk to you for a few minutes, Porsha? And she goes, now? She goes, yeah, now. So Liz says, no, he is in no condition physically and emotionally to see patients. And so she told him, Porsha, the deal, and they've broken up, but he is just clinging to the bottle. And Portia's like, okay, now, the first time you talked to me about Finn drinking, we thought it was a one-time thing, and you talked to me as your friend, and I treated it as your friend. Now, what's your purpose here? She goes, I'm talking to you as our boss. And Porsha says, good. Because now we're talking about the hospital being put, in jeopardy, patients being put in jeopardy. That is official business. And I am going to have to take action on this if he wants to come back tomorrow. So Liz says, no, I understand. And she says, Elizabeth, I know this had to be hard on you. Coming forth and letting me know this. But no, you needed to let me know this. And she thanked her for it. So we'll see how Porsha handles that tomorrow, or we'll see what happens with that. Porsha gets to the party and she's talking to, when it came time for speech, they wanted Willow to make her little speech, birthday girl. She blew out the cake and blew out the cake. She blew out the candles on the cake. And she goes, no, instead of me making a statement, I want to turn this over to Drew so he can make a statement. He has an important statement to make. And he goes, well, okay. So he tells the whole crowd he's running for Congress and everybody claps for him. And what Willow says, so my statement is, everybody vote for Drew. And vote, and who else did he tell? He told Michael, because the judge called him Michael and saying Drew was petitioning to change his name to Quartermain. And he says, won't people think, Drew, that you've bought this seat? He goes, no, to the contrary. They're going to think I have no ulterior motives for payoffs. I already have money. I don't need their money. So anyway, that was it, everybody. That was it for today's General Hospital. Let's go to Comment Corner. Comment corner. Okay, I'm going to go from the top. No, I think I'm bottom to the top this time. I think that's where I'm at with comment corner. Okay. Uh-oh. Now, from the bottom, Lucy says, happy weekend, GH fans, daily recap lady. Cassia says, happy weekend to you, Lucy. And then Lisa says, enjoy your weekend, Lucy. Wendy says, what happened to the Cliffhanger Friday? Today could have been a filler day like Wednesday. I know we don't have Cliffhanger Fridays like we used to have Cliffhanger Fridays. User NZ said Drew needs to spend time with Scout and forget about running for Congress. That will take up all of your time. You would never see your daughter grow up. Come on now. And then Lisa says he will run, but his stuff from the past and Nina and office sex will come out and he won't win. And then something's happened to keep him from being Congress. Yeah, something is going to happen because let's face it, they're not writing him off. I mean, I don't see that. Although, look, Laura's mayor and she's still around. So they just may give Drew another office, another setup in an office. And he's now Congress. Who knows? Michelle says, I now see what everyone else sees. Drew doesn't give a damn about his own daughter. Ooh. Michelle, I accidentally slipped and said that word. Sorry, recap fans. Drew doesn't give a darn. Goodness, about his own daughter. No swearing. Look, not on camera, not on recaps, right? Judy says, Scout, who? They don't even show these children until it's convenient for them. I mean, Sam should be shown with her kids once in a while, you think. The rest of them, they're no better. Those kids are not on screen ever. I guess General Hospital is not child friendly. No, those kids cost money. Every day they have them child actors and actresses on, but paying them to work. Okay, so they cost money. Like you see, Danny's storyline has died down a bit too, where I was liking Danny's rebellious storyline. Judy says Drew needs to stop manipulating the situation that Nina could be around Willow. Willow and Nitwit, Nitwit forever letting her, or is the Nitwit forever letting her come around? Well, it's been kind of manipulated by Drew, business related. She'll do it to her again. That's all she thinks about is how she can interlope. Nina is a nut job and she won't stop. But Nina has calmed down. She is trying to have boundaries. She wants what she wants. She doesn't care about anyone. Once again, she's right back to that stage, just what Nina wants. And you know what? As long as Nina behaves, who cares? I don't care. I want to see some Jason stuff. Ron says Trina and Joss will end up fighting over Geo. Hey, that's one thing. Why was Dex not at Willow's party? Dex could have been there with Joss, but he knows Michael and Willow too. So I'm shocked that Dex wasn't there and they didn't invite Jason. There could have been more people at that party, right? Lisa says Jocelyn will stay with Dex. Trina and Geo will end up together. That's true. I don't see Jocelyn wanting Geo. Denzel says it ain't even what took Ava. What do you mean? It didn't take Eva that long to hire Geo when he was going to play that violin in the art gallery. To my boy Geo on that. The Quartermain's garage apartment looks great. And Trina and Jocelyn will be roommates, I guess. I like Geo's character so far. I do too. They didn't make him some bad boy undercover. And all but who the heck is he? Or does he think he is? A real estate agent or something? I like that It's not even his house, and he's living there for free because he's related to Lois and them. I know. Where's Monica? Monica's always not feeling well. That's what I want to know. What I want to know, last time I checked, it was Monica's house. Her late husband, Alan, was the one that gave her the house. I know they say that all the time. But, and everybody go back and finish reading Denzel's great comment. And then Angie says, I strongly believe that Monica will leave that Quartermain mansion and almost all her wealth to Jason. I hope Drew does not marry Nina. She will make Drew's life miserable. I honestly believe that if Monica did, they wrote her, like if the actress died, they will not recast Monica because they don't show that Monica. And she has been the only one playing Monica, except for stints of illness, and they have replacements. Monica, I believe, would leave the house to Jason. Jason is her own, well, Drew too, but Drew is that kind of, you know what? Oh yeah, there was a twin. I'll accept you. But Jason, she helped raise. So she would leave it to Jason. And as she should. Would Jason ever live there? Heck no. He would let Michael pretty much, take over the place. He would never live there. Jacardi says Nina just had to get a dig in there. She can't help herself. P. Merle says, what? No comment. Oh, you know what? You were right, P. Merle. On Friday, I ended it because I was trying to run out the door, grandma duty again, going back to take care of the grandbaby. And once I ended it and I was uploading it, I said, oh my goodness, I forgot comment corner. But look, grandbaby calling. Then P. Merle says, wow, Drew dressed like a CEO. So glad the congressman didn't catch him and Nina. I know, right? Going at it, LOL, because that could have happened easily. Let's see. Jacardi says, didn't Christina and Blaze just have a fight? And she walked out, and now they're sitting there fantasizing. Well, yeah, they made up. Remember, Christina said she overreacted. They made up in the photo booth, not photo booth, the sound booth on the day of the recording, about if the baby was theirs. But Molly and TJ have one fight, and she wants to know if she could keep the baby because already she's thinking about it. That is so true. She's already thinking about it. Excuse me. Goodness. This right here is why TJ thinks she's flaky and doesn't trust her decisions. And Michelle says, fact, Christina is so darn clueless. The sad part about everything TJ said about her is the truth. Well, yeah, it is the truth. It's always been Christina, but that's who he and Molly, TJ and Molly, chose to be the surrogate. So as much as TJ says, no, I protested all along. You're lying. You're lying. You both were sitting at that table giddy when you told Christina you decided, yes, you wanted to use her as a surrogate. So, all right, everybody, that's it. That's it for the daily recap of General Hospital for Monday, June the 17th.